What if I told you that one of the deadliest conflicts in human history, a war that killed 17 million people, toppled 4 empires, and permanently reshaped the entire world, came down, in part, to a wrong turn down the wrong street at the wrong moment? It's the 28th of June, 1914. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, is visiting Sarajevo with his wife Sophie. The visit is a political statement, and not everyone in the city is pleased about it. A group of 7 assassins from a Serbian nationalist organization called the Black Hand have positioned themselves along the planned motorcade route, each one waiting for their moment. The first attempt happens almost immediately. An assassin throws a grenade at Franz Ferdinand's open car. The Archduke spots it and deflects it with his arm. It bounces off, explodes under the following vehicle, and injures several members of the entourage. Franz Ferdinand arrives at the town hall, shaken, furious, but very much alive. The remaining assassins, convinced the mission has failed and that the city will now be crawling with police, begin to scatter. One of them, a 19-year-old named Gavrilo Princip, gives up entirely and wanders to a nearby deli to get something to eat. The assassination, for all intents and purposes, is over. But then, Franz Ferdinand makes a decision. Despite everything that has just happened, he wants to visit the people injured in the earlier blast, who are now being treated at the local hospital. A generous instinct, a fateful one. His motorcade sets off again through the streets of Sarajevo. And here is where the wrong turn happens. The lead driver, who has not been properly informed of the new route, takes a wrong turn down a street called Franz Joseph Street. An official riding on the running board shouts that he's gone the wrong way. The driver stops the car and begins to slowly reverse, bringing the Archduke's vehicle to a complete standstill directly outside the deli where Gavrilo Princip is standing, eating his lunch. Princip looks up from his food. The Archduke's open car is stationary, less than 5 feet away. He steps forward, draws his pistol, and fires twice at almost point-blank range. Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie are both struck. Both die within the hour. Within weeks, the consequences begin cascading in ways nobody fully anticipated. Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia. Russia mobilizes to defend Serbia. Germany declares war on Russia. France is drawn in by treaty. Germany invades Belgium. Britain, bound to protect Belgian neutrality, declares war on Germany. In less than 6 weeks, most of Europe is at war. The chain of alliances, rivalries, and imperial tensions that had been quietly building for decades finally has its spark. And once lit, it cannot be put out. 17 million people will die before it ends. The map of Europe will be redrawn beyond recognition. 4 empires, Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, Russian, and German, will collapse entirely. And the bitterness and instability left behind will create the precise conditions for an even more devastating war just 20 years later. All because a driver took a wrong turn. All because Gavrilo Princip happened to be standing outside that exact deli at that exact moment on that exact street, having already given up and gone for lunch. Historians have debated this ever since. Was the First World War inevitable? Were the tensions in Europe so deep, the alliances so entangled, the imperial ambitions so combustible, that catastrophic conflict was simply a matter of time, regardless of what happened that afternoon in Sarajevo? Or did the fate of 17 million people genuinely hinge on one wrong turn and one hungry 19-year-old who had given up for the day? The honest answer is probably somewhere in between. The powder keg existed long before June 1914. The conditions for catastrophe had been carefully assembled over decades by politicians, generals, and emperors across an entire continent. But someone still had to light the match. History doesn't always turn on grand strategies and sweeping geopolitical forces. Sometimes the entire thing pivots on something so small, so accidental, so absurdly human that it barely seems real when you read it back. On the 28th of June, 1914, the match was a wrong turn, and a young man who had given up, standing on a street corner, eating his lunch.